the Great Sphinx of Giza. A colossal enigma, eternally gazing westward across the sands of time. This majestic creature, with its lion's body and human head, has captivated humankind for millennia. Even today, archaeologists and historians grapple with fundamental questions about the Sphinx. When was it built? By whom? And for what purpose? The Sphinx stands as a silent sentinel, a testament to a civilization that possessed extraordinary architectural and astronomical knowledge. Carved from a single block of limestone, it is the largest monolithic statue in the world, measuring 240 feet long and 66 feet high. Its enigmatic smile and piercing gaze seem to hold ancient secrets, whispering tales of a forgotten past. The conventional view places the construction of the Sphinx around 2500 BC, attributed to the pharaoh Khafre. This dating relies primarily on circumstantial evidence, such as the stylistic similarities between the Sphinx and other monuments from Khafre's reign. But what if this accepted timeline is wrong? What if the Sphinx predates Khafre and indeed the pyramids themselves by 1,000 years or more? There is compelling evidence, both archaeological and geological, that suggests a much earlier date for the Sphinx. Over the past few decades, a growing number of researchers have challenged the orthodox view, pointing to anomalies in the archaeological record and intriguing clues left by the forces of nature. Could it be that the Sphinx is a relic of a lost civilization, a civilization that predates the dynastic Egyptians? Join us as we delve into this fascinating mystery. The traditional narrative places the construction of the Great Sphinx within the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, specifically during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre. This period represents a zenith of Egyptian civilization, a time when pharaohs wielded immense power and resources. Monumental architecture like the pyramids and the Sphinx itself became the ultimate expressions of royal authority, designed to endure for eternity. According to this established timeline, Khafre commissioned the Sphinx as part of his funerary complex. The Sphinx, with its imposing presence guarding the eastern approach to his pyramid, would serve as a symbolic protector, ensuring the pharaoh's safe passage into the afterlife. Egyptologists who subscribe to the conventional dating point to several pieces of evidence to support their claims. The most compelling is the inventory stela, discovered by Auguste Mariette in 1857. This weathered inscription, found near the Sphinx, allegedly describes Khafre restoring the monument, implying that it already existed during his reign. Further, stylistic similarities between the Sphinx and other statues attributed to Khafre's era, particularly the facial features and the royal headdress, lend credence to the official narrative. For proponents of the conventional view, these stylistic echoes offer compelling evidence of the Sphinx's 4th dynasty origins. Yet, even within the confines of the established timeline, questions linger. Some Egyptologists propose that it may have been a much grander project initially envisioned, perhaps left unfinished at the pharaoh's death. This theory finds some support in the Sphinx's seemingly disproportionate size compared to Khafre's pyramid, suggesting a possible mismatch in scale. Could it be that what we see today is merely a fragment of a much larger and more elaborate monument, conceived during Khafre's reign but abandoned or left incomplete for reasons unknown? The sands of the Sahara hold secrets, whispers of a past far older than conventional history might suggest. Beyond the polished narratives of pharaohs and pyramids, a growing number of researchers are listening to a different story, one etched not in hieroglyphs but in the very fabric of the Sphinx itself. This alternative narrative challenges the established timeline, proposing a radical notion that the Great Sphinx predates the reign of Khafre by a staggering millennium, placing its origins in a remote epoch around 10,500 BC. Could it be that the Sphinx stood sentinel over the Giza Plateau during a time when the Sahara was a lush, verdant landscape, watered by abundant rainfall? The primary proponent of this controversial dating is R.A. Schoch, a geologist from Boston University, who in the early 1990s conducted a series of meticulous examinations of the Sphinx's erosion patterns. Schoch observed deep vertical fissures along the Sphinx's body and enclosure walls. a type of weathering he attributed to prolonged exposure to heavy rainfall, a stark contrast to the wind-driven erosion typical of the Giza Plateau for millennia. Schoch's findings ignited a firestorm of debate within archaeological circles. If the Sphinx's erosion was indeed caused by rainfall, it would necessitate a dramatic re-evaluation of the prevailing timeline for Egyptian civilization. Mainstream Egyptologists, however, remain skeptical, attributing the unusual erosion patterns to other factors, such as salt weathering or the effects of Nile floods. The implications were profound. Further bolstering Schoch's theory is the presence of deep vertical shafts, known as rain channels, carved into the bedrock surrounding the Sphinx. These channels appear to have been designed to funnel rainwater away from the monument, suggesting a period of significantly higher precipitation than anything experienced in recent history. Could this be evidence of a lost civilization, one that predates the dynastic Egyptians? A civilization that flourished during a time when the Sahara was a verdant paradise? Adding another layer of intrigue to the mystery is the work of Robert Bauval, an engineer and author, who proposes an astronomical connection to the Sphinx's age. Bauval's theory, known as the Orion correlation theory, posits that the layout of the three main pyramids at Giza aligns with the three stars of Orion's belt. He argues that the pyramid's alignment reflects the position of these stars in the sky around 10,500 BC, suggesting that the Sphinx may have been deliberately oriented towards the rising sun on the spring equinox of that epoch. Could it be that the monument's builders encoded astronomical knowledge into its very design? Knowledge that points to a civilization far older and more sophisticated than previously imagined? The age of the Great Sphinx of Giza, a question that ignites passions, divides opinions, and fuels endless debate within the hallowed halls of archaeology. On one side we have the established view, the bedrock of conventional Egyptology, steadfastly placing the Sphinx's construction within the 4th dynasty, around 2500 BC. On the other side, a growing chorus of dissent points to a far more ancient origin, pushing back the monument's birth to a time before recorded history, perhaps as early as 10,500 BC. The evidence, both archaeological and geological, is scrutinized, debated, and reinterpreted. The inventory stela, a cornerstone of the conventional dating, is challenged, its authenticity questioned, its interpretation disputed. The debate rages on, a testament to the enduring mystery of the Sphinx. The mainstream archaeological community, while acknowledging the unusual erosion patterns on the Sphinx, remains unconvinced by the arguments for a significantly older date. They point to the lack of any corroborating evidence from other sites in Egypt or the wider region to support the notion of a wetter climate in the early Holocene. The Sahara, they argue, has been predominantly arid for millennia, with only brief, intermittent periods of increased rainfall, insufficient to account for the deep weathering observed on the Sphinx. Furthermore, they challenge the interpretation of the so-called rain channels as evidence of a sophisticated water management system from a remote epoch. The absence of any archaeological remains, such as settlements, tools, or pottery, dating to the early Holocene in the vicinity of the Sphinx, further weakens the case for an older civilization inhabiting the region. Proponents of the older dating, however, remain undeterred, countering each rebuttal with renewed vigor. They argue that the absence of corroborating evidence for a wetter climate in the early Holocene is not proof of its non-existence. Archaeological research in Egypt has primarily focused on the Nile River Valley and its immediate surroundings, leaving vast swaths of the Sahara virtually unexplored. The possibility remains that evidence of a wetter climate and earlier settlements may lie buried beneath the sands, awaiting discovery. The Sphinx, they argue, bears the unmistakable mark of prolonged exposure to heavy rainfall, a phenomenon more consistent with the climatic conditions of the early Holocene than the arid climate of the past 4,000 years. The mystery of the Sphinx's age speaks to a fundamental question that has haunted humanity since time immemorial, the question of our origins. If the Sphinx does indeed predate the dynastic Egyptians, then our understanding of history, of the rise and fall of cultures, of the very trajectory of human progress, would need to be fundamentally reassessed. The Sphinx, with its timeless presence, its enigmatic smile, and its enduring mystery, invites us to look beyond the confines of our current understanding, to embrace the unknown. The very notion that the Great Sphinx might predate the established timeline of ancient Egypt sends tremors through the foundations of archaeology. It challenges deeply held beliefs about the origins of civilization, the development of complex societies, and the very nature of human progress. If we accept the possibility that the Sphinx stands as a silent witness to a lost civilization, then our understanding of the past must shift, expand, and make room for a narrative far grander and more enigmatic than we ever imagined. Could the knowledge and skills required to carve the Sphinx from a single block of limestone, to orient it with such astronomical precision, have been passed down from a civilization lost to time? The questions multiply, each one a thread in a tapestry of mystery that we are only beginning to unravel. Imagine a civilization predating the dynastic Egyptians by millennia. A civilization that thrived in a lush, fertile Sahara, their cities now swallowed by the sands of time. This civilization, possessing advanced knowledge of astronomy, engineering, and spirituality, left behind a legacy, not in written records or grand cities but in a monument that would endure for millennia, the Great Sphinx. The Sphinx in this alternative narrative becomes more than just a guardian of the Giza plateau. It transforms into a repository of ancient wisdom, a testament to the achievements of a lost civilization. The Sphinx in this light becomes a beacon, a symbol of the enduring power of human ingenuity, and the tantalizing possibility that our history is far richer and more complex than we currently understand. The quest to unravel the mystery of the Sphinx's age is a journey into the heart of our collective past, a search for meaning and connection in a world increasingly dominated by the ephemeral and the fleeting. The Sphinx, with its timeless presence, its enigmatic smile, and its enduring mystery, beckons us to look beyond the confines of our current understanding, to embrace the unknown, and to acknowledge that our knowledge of the past, much like the shifting sands of the Sahara, is constantly being reshaped by new discoveries and fresh interpretations. The debate over the Sphinx's age is far from over. New evidence will emerge, new theories will be proposed, and the pendulum of opinion may swing back and forth for generations to come. But one thing remains certain: the Great Sphinx of Giza, regardless of its true age, will continue to captivate our imaginations, fuel our curiosity, and remind us that the past is never truly past, that its echoes can still be heard in the whispers of the wind and the shifting sands of time. The Great Sphinx of Giza stands as a potent symbol of the mysteries that continue to intrigue and elude us. Despite decades of research, heated debates, and groundbreaking discoveries, the true age of this enigmatic monument remains an enigma, a question that continues to spark controversy and fuel our collective imagination. Did Pharaoh Khafre, in the prime of the 4th dynasty, command the creation of this majestic being as a guardian for his pyramid? Or does the Sphinx stand as a silent sentinel from a far earlier epoch, a remnant of a lost civilization swallowed by the sands of time, whispering tales of advanced knowledge and forgotten epics? The evidence is tantalizing, yet inconclusive. The geological anomalies, the erosion patterns etched by wind and water, hint at a history far more ancient and enigmatic than conventional timelines might suggest. The astronomical correlations, the deliberate alignments with celestial bodies, suggest a profound understanding of the cosmos, perhaps inherited from predecessors long vanished from our historical narratives. The debate continues, fueled by the passion of researchers, the allure of the unknown, and the enduring power of the Sphinx to challenge our understanding of the past. Regardless of whether the Sphinx predates the pyramids by 1,000 years, or stands as a proud testament to the ingenuity of the 4th dynasty, its impact on our collective psyche remains undeniable. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of human creativity, the capacity to conceive and construct monumental works that transcend time and defy explanation. The very fact that we are still debating its origins, still seeking answers in the erosion patterns and astronomical alignments, speaks to the Sphinx's enduring hold on our imaginations. The Sphinx, with its enigmatic smile and watchful gaze, reminds us that our understanding of the past is never static, never complete. It is a story constantly being rewritten, reinterpreted as new discoveries emerge and old assumptions crumble. It is a journey of exploration, a quest for knowledge that leads us not only into the depths of history, but also into the very heart of what it means to be human, to question, to explore, and to marvel at the wonders of a world far older and more mysterious than we can possibly imagine. The Sphinx, silent and enduring, invites us to continue this journey, to embrace the unknown, and to listen to the whispers of time etched in its ancient stone.